Before we begin, there's a few things that you should be aware of. If you're doing a SIMnet project that is auto-graded, always use the SIMnet project instructions and the start file in the SIMnet project area. That's what you see on the screen right here. It's really important that you get your instructions right from there. Secondly, if you're doing a project that is not auto-graded, such as pause and practice, we highly encourage that you use the instructions in the sim book rather than the printed book if you have it, because the sim book project instructions are always up to date. And then lastly, there are slight differences between Office 365 and 2019. The book and project instructions are written in Office 365, and where differences exist, they'll be noted in the project instructions or in the sim book. Okay, let's begin. Step 1 says to download the start file, as always. And then in this particular project, we need to also get a resource, which is a particular image. So we need to download, click the start file, and then the resources button, and they'll show up in Chrome if you're using Chrome down here. In Firefox, I believe it's in the upper right, but they should be in your downloads folder or wherever you happen to send your downloaded things to. So in this particular case, I'm going to open up the student file, the start file. And if it opens up in protected view, simply double click the enable editing button so you can begin to edit. In step 2, what you need to do is resave your document if you're told to do so. Otherwise, you can just leave it as is. And that completes step 2. Let's move on to step 3. We're going to apply a background picture fill. And what we need to do is we need to be on slide 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click to get the format background pane. And you can always get back to this if you click off it and then get back to it. It'll open up this and it'll give you a whole host of choices. 3B, it says click picture or text fill. And then file. And here's where we're going to grab that image. So I know I saved it in my downloads. I can see it right here. It's building-03. And it puts it in there. And then I need to click the picture button. It's right up here. Picture color. We're going to recolor it here. You can see what happens. We need to choose blue accent color dark. And I believe it's this one right here. And let me just double check. Second row, third color, that is correct. And then F, step F, it says apply to all. And you can see it applied to all of the images. That completes step 3. Step 4 is actually going to have us reset some of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to display slide 1 right here. And if you happen to click off it, we can get back here. If I X'd off this, can always get back to it. Format background, and under picture color, we click the reset button. We see it reset there. Then I'm going to click slide 2, click the reset button, and it'll change those 2 slides. And that completes step 4. Step 5 is to prepare a black slide so the speaker can talk. And so what we need to do is toggle down or click on slide 6. Need the format background pane open again. I'm going to click fill at the top, choosing solid fill. Then the color option is black background. I believe it's the first one, but always double check that, follow the instructions. And then I'm going to close the background pane. And that completes step 5. Step 6, we're going to apply a transition to all slides. We're going to click on transitions. And by the way, it's very important not to accidentally click on animations. They look almost the same, but transitions are in between each slide. And once again, we're on 6A. I'm going to click the shape transition. Then in the effects option up here, I'm going to choose diamond. Then I'm going to choose apply all. And that should complete step 6. Step 7. This is where we are going to do animations on various slides. If you look at the table, it's a good idea to read all the instructions. If you look at them, there are 1, 2, 3, there's 5 slides that we are going to put animations on. Slide 1, 3, 2 on slide 7, and then slide 8. So just pay attention, and particularly with slide 3, because there's one little nuance that you have to get correct. So I'm going to click on slide 1. It says click the text box. Anywhere in the text box is absolutely fine over here. And then we need to be on animation. That's very important. On the animations tab. And we need to choose the wipe entrance. And then from the effects options, from bottom, by paragraph. And over here, it's already set on click. No need to change it. It's already on 0.5 or 50 seconds there. So we're going to leave that as is. If I suppose if it's different on your computer, you could change it, but my computer's already set. Now on slide 3, watch what happens here. I need to click the picture and then the shape entrance. Looks good. And then you actually have to do this in a little bit of reverse. It's weird. You have to click the diamond first and then out. If you clicked the out first and then diamond, it would actually erase the out choice and use in as default, and then you would get that wrong. So it needs to say out and diamond, and you should be good. We need to change the start to after previous. And 2 minutes, that's perfect. Cruising down to slide 7. It says text box about space. I click on it, choose the zoom entrance. Need to choose object center as one object. On click, 50 seconds, nothing to change there. The next line says the text box about wireless access. Going to do a very similar thing here. Zoom as one, on click. Okay, great. We only have one more step to go. On 8, we need to, slide 8, choose somewhere in the donor area. These are all the donors. Need to choose the wipe entrance. From bottom, all at once. That's a good feature to know. Sometimes you want everything to appear at once. You need to make sure this is on after previous. And I need to bump this up to 1 right there. So for me, I have to do that. And I'm just looking at it really quickly, and I believe that completes step 7. Step 8, it says use the slideshow view to practice the use of navigation tools. So what we need to do is click on the slideshow button. There's a couple different ways you can do that. Down here is the status bar, and they ask you to use this occasionally. It's down towards the bottom. Looks like a little podium or lectern. If I click on that, it's actually, I have 2 screens. So on one screen, I get the, call it the instructor or presenter view, which you're looking at right now. And then on the main screen, I see what the audience would see. So it says display, slide 1. Then we're going to, so we can go back here. I'm going to click on slide 1. Then it wants us to use the next button. I can toggle through all these really quickly. Then it wants us to ask to see all slides, it's this button right here. You really can't go wrong with this step. They're really just asking you to play around with all the features. Then you have a couple different options. I'm going to click on one of the slides here. You can right click and click zoom in. And you click it again. I can do that. I can right click to click out of it. I can click N for next. I can click P for previous. If I clicked, let's see, 5 and enter, it'd take me to slide 5, so you can designate what slide to go to immediately. If you hit the B button, it'll actually blank or black out the slide. And if I hit it again, it'll get back to it. So once you're done playing around in step H, you simply hit escape to get out of this view. And that completes step 8. Step 9 asks us to prepare 2 slides with speaker notes. So I'm going to select slide 1. We need to click on the Notes page button, View tab. See it up here, Notes page. It's going to be really, really small. So in this case, I'm going to click Zoom. It wants us to bump it up to 150 so we can see it and actually make it way better for the video anyway. Click on that. And then it wants us to add text and do it exactly the way it shows it. In between each line, it's particular. If you don't have a blank line in between each one, it will mark you wrong. How do I know this? Because I had it marked wrong when I was practicing. And when you go to put the dash, it tells you to put 2 minuses. And then as soon as you type the next letter and the next word, it'll change it to a dash. I can also tell you from experience, if you spell anything incorrectly, get some capitalization wrong, it'll mark you wrong. So let me just triple check that this is good to go. Okay. Now I'm going to move down to slide 5. A whole bunch of different ways you can get there. I'm moving the slider over here, but you can press the page down button as well. Here you have to put in a bunch of things. On this slide, I'm going to type it in. This will take a minute here. And if I made any mistakes, it'll certainly let me know. So I'm going to click on the normal view. And that will complete step 9. Step 10. We need to print out slides 4 and 5. And please note that you don't actually have to print these unless you're told to do so by your instructor, but you do have to set it up correctly. So I'm going to head to the File button, which I just did, Print, and then the printer's already set for me. So in the custom area right here, it says slides. I need to put 4-5. And then here, in the next line down, I need to click on it, make sure it says scale to fit paper, and then I need to choose Notes Pages. It's very important there. And then I can click Print, but I'm not going to do it in this example, but you could if you were told to do so. And that completes step 10. Step 11 has us rehearse timings. And let me show you where that is. And there's a few things I want to mention here. On the slideshow tab, there's a button called Rehearse Timings. And what they want you to do is practice rehearsing the time. You can actually save this and tweak it and set it up for recording. It's kind of cool. But you should see in the upper left-hand portion of your screen a little next button. And there's a little timer there. You can pause this as well. They ask you to toggle through this. And I'm going to go a little bit quicker than they probably want us to go through. But it should mark it correct. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to click on the next slide here. Make sure each slide has a time on it. at least a second or two. I think they say 5 seconds. But as long as there's a few seconds in between each one, you should be okay. And let me show you what happens at the end here. Just bear with me. We're almost done. Just waiting. I want to make sure each one is up for at least a couple seconds. When it says, do you want to save this? Click yes. Click yes. And then in the slide sorter view, you see it's 4 little squares down here in the status area. You can then see that each one has a time underneath. And if that's the case, when you go to submit this, you should get full credit for that. Try to get as close to 5 seconds as possible, but if you have a time in there, you should be good. Anyway, that completes step 11. Step 12. It says use the presenter view to review your presentation. I'm going to go to the slideshow tab, and we should probably already be on it. And then in the setup group, we need to deselect use timings. I'm just checking over my instructions to make sure I get it right. In the monitors group, we need to make sure that use presenter view is on. And then we need to click from the beginning. There's a lot of great features on here, and you can certainly move on to advance the next slide. You can use the zoom button to zoom into an area, then click it again to get back out of it. You can click this button to see all slides. It's over here. And really, this particular step is just to get you used to this show presenter view. And you can just hit escape, and that'll get back out of it. Let me hit escape again to get back out into this view right here. And really, that should do it. Steps 13, 14, and 15 say to save and close your presentation, upload it, and then submit your project for grading. Best of luck, everybody.